Pittsburgh Marathon full recap. Just going to start by saying I pretty much shit the bed. That's going to be a running theme of this recap. Finished in 3 hours and 29 minutes and some odd seconds. Way above where I wanted to finish by about 35 minutes, give or take. Was shooting for a 2:55, so obviously with a 3:29 I did not hit that or come close to it whatsoever. It was just not my day. You have those. I guess I'm human per se. I just had issues all race today, so I never really felt myself, even though I had legs. My legs felt fine all race. It was just my stomach and my torso area that just really failed me today. Last night I stayed over at the Wyndham Grand, which is by the finish line. Came down yesterday afternoon, got in town around 1 o'clock. So I'm going to go into all kinds of details here. As you see, I stopped at Wendy's on the way here. Got myself lunch and dinner. That way I didn't have to worry about it once I got to town. That was probably a mistake, at least in retrospect. Even though I've eaten Wendy's and Burger King, before race, the night before races before, it just, for some reason, it did not settle with me yesterday at all. I don't know, maybe I was sick beforehand. Who knows? So I ate a couple burgers when I got to the hotel around 3 o'clock. Actually, I parked at the Greyhound station, walked to the convention, the expo, to pick up my bib and hung out there for an hour or so. Because I ate breakfast about 10 o'clock before I left, so I wasn't going to eat lunch right away. But when I got to my hotel room about 3, I ate a couple burgers in the room. Then I wanted to go to the Pirate game. I think it started around there before I headed out to the Pirate game. I just was feeling a little bit, even at the expo when I was walking around and talking to some friends. It just, something didn't seem right. I don't know what it was. And then I went to the Pirate game and just that air just kept hitting me. I don't know if it was the air, the coldness. It wasn't really cold, but whatever. It just felt like I was getting a headache. Felt a little hot while I was sitting there, and I was like, oh, this is gonna suck. Maybe I just needed more food in me. Wasn't really sure, but I stayed the whole game. There was like an hour and a half rain delay anyhow. 4:05 game didn't start till 5:45, so whatever, an hour 40-minute delay. It's a good game, even though the Pirates lost, of course. So I won't get into the Pirate game, but it was kind of disappointing just standing around for an hour and a half while it was raining. That probably did me in, actually, being out in the rain like that. But it's close to the hotel, and it's one of those traditions I do during Pittsburgh Marathon weekend. Anyway, come home not come home, but I go to my room from the Pirate game, get my other burgers, take them down, microwave them, and I was just really starting to feel off then, and my stomach just started turning. I felt like really overheated. Had like, not sort of like a headache, like just pressurized in my head, and just sick in general. So I took a couple like powdered Tylenols that I had. That really didn't help. I took a couple bites of my Wendy's burger, and my stomach just said enough. It completely turned sick. Ended up puking in my room 2 or 3 times, at least. I would say 3. I know I tried a couple more times and nothing came out, but I finally got everything to empty out. Then I was like, all right, screw this. I'm just gonna go home, not even do the marathon. I was like, I'm behind on nutrition now. I'm sick. Don't know what it is. There's no point in me trying to stick around for the marathon, and do bad tomorrow. So I threw all my stuff in a bag, my luggage bag. I was getting ready to head home, but I was like, man, I'm just still sick right now. So I'm just going to lay down. I ended up laying down from like 8:40 to maybe 11. I turned my alarm off a couple times just because I didn't have the energy or whatever to be able to drive home. So that's how sick I was laying in my hotel. I had a cold washcloth over top of my head. And I was just laying there in the cold, just trying to get my body calmed down. I just don't know what it was. Either way, it sucked. But then by the time I really woke up, got situated, it was after 11. And I was like, well, I got 5 hours before I really have to get back up, because I set my alarm for, it was going to be 5:30 if I wasn't sick. So I set it for, I think, 10 after 5 or quarter after 5 this morning, just to see how I felt. By some chance that I felt good, I was still going to race, just take it easy. So I took a couple bites of my peanut butter jelly sandwich that I was going to eat for breakfast. So I was eating my breakfast already, which would have put me farther behind nutrition-wise. I didn't care. I just needed something to settle my stomach. So then I ended up going to bed, got my 5 hours or whatever. Probably like 6.5, 7 total, just when I was sick. I don't know if you really want to count that. Woke up, felt all right, not 100%, but I felt fine. I was like, all right, we'll eat, get ready, we'll see how I feel as I eat and get ready. I felt good enough where I figured I could race. We'll just see what happens, and if I got sick, I'd just pull back. I knew it wasn't enough calories this morning. Whatever was left of my peanut butter jelly. I had one of those 6-pack of crackers and a Nugo bar. So maybe 600 to 800 calories total. Because besides my peanut butter and jelly bites that I ate last night, I drank my protein shake that I was going to drink for breakfast. So that was another reason why I knew I was going to be calorie deficient in the morning. That 30 grams of protein and calories in general, I really needed for breakfast. But whatever. Got ready, got all my gear on, put salty britches, stuff on my feet, because I didn't know if it was supposed to rain at 8 o'clock. It really actually held off all race for me. Did sprinkle a little bit after I finished, just for a few minutes. Got my nippies on, my Gold Bond friction defense for my nuts. I was wearing calf sleeves, my 2X, I wore my Under Armour ISO chills, wore my tank top jersey. Took my MP3 player today. What else was I wearing? All my new Endorphin Pro 4s. I only wore them for 3-mile break-in the other day, so they were pretty fresh. I felt pretty good, like I said, as I was walking this morning, but I just knew in the back of my mind that I didn't have enough food in me to sustain me for the race. But if I do an ultra, I'm always behind on calories anyhow, and I figured I could just grin and bear it, just drink the electrolytes that they have in water. And I did have a couple gels on me. I think they were GUs with caffeine in them. I'm not really sure what I had. I was like, maybe I could survive and just maybe grab something on the course that, people have or what they offered. But obviously that wasn't enough. I did have a Gatorade in the morning. I had a Celsius as well, just to get my blood flowing and some electrolytes in me this morning. Left my bag at the hotel today. Since it's right at the finish line, I didn't need to do a gear check, which was awesome. And I was hoping to also be back within 5 hours so I could shower before they kicked me out. Checkout was at 12. So it's like, if I finish within 5 hours, I can get a shower and change in my hotel room instead of, just trying to change and jet out. That was beneficial. Got to the finish line. I did have a nice poop this morning. I guess it was alright poop. Headed to the finish line. I threw another t-shirt on, a junk t-shirt. I think it was my Cubage Chase shirt this morning. I even took one of those rain ponchos because I didn't know how cold it was outside before I stepped out. But it was definitely too hot. Definitely ditched the poncho quickly. But I kept the shirt on till like close to the finish line. Oh, I was also wearing my naked belt today to put my phone in. I had a couple of rubber gloves in case I got cold out or it started raining during the race. I could put them on to keep my hands a little bit warmer. I think I kept my gels in my Under Armour Air Chill shorts along with my room key. So that way they stay tight against me. Then I had a couple baggies for my phone. I don't know, maybe my waist belt was putting too much pressure on my stomach and that's what made me have issues today. I have no idea. But anyway, I got to the start line. I know before I got there I saw Laco. And then around the start line I saw AJ Kelly, a couple other people. Didn't see as many people as I thought I was going to, even on the way to the start line. But it was a beautiful morning, like 60-some degrees. Just had a slight chill in the air, a little humid from the rain last night, but nothing horrible. I would say it was a perfect temperature to start a marathon. Maybe it needed to be another 5-10 degrees cooler, but I don't know. Get to the start line, got warmed up a little bit, peed once before I got there. Lines were starting to build up. It was a little confusing this morning to get to the Corral A. I know all the times that I've done the race, I should know by now, but I don't. Because, honestly, since I usually stay at the Drury, the start line's right outside the door. It says it stayed at the Wyndham Grand. Had to walk a little bit, but I was just getting confused how to get to the Corral A because I kept seeing D, C, B, and I had to go out and around trying to find a shortcut. Anyway, felt all right at the start line. Still knew I wasn't going to be able to maintain. I just had that in the back of my mind that I was off a little bit or just, again, behind on nutrition. But I started off pretty good. I stayed within myself early on because last year I did a 2:51, which was like a 6:20 pace. I'm not sure what the exact pace was, but I was like 2:55 was about a 6:40 or 6:38 range overall. And I know last year, the first couple of the first miles were like 6:08, 6:05s. And I definitely didn't want to do that because I knew I would have been burning a lot more calories way too soon. So I wasn't trying to, turn and burn early on. So I wanted to stay within myself and try to stay as close to that 6:40 pace as possible. Let's see. Yeah, so I did that. Did bank a little bit of time. The first 4 or 5 miles. Was feeling pretty good. I was like, all right. I had it on the screen where it counts down a split per mile, so you can see if you're ahead of it. Shows you your pace and what your goal pace for that mile is according to the Pace Pro. So I was, under that, and I was banking some time. I was like, all right, maybe we weren't gonna do as bad as we thought. Then around, I think mile 3-ish, started to feel a little gassy. And I was like, shit, don't even do this already. But I did. I was like, I'm gonna have to try to go to the bathroom now, because if I don't now, it's gonna cost me energy, and it's gonna get me out of the zone. So after the stadiums, whatever mile that is, we'll say 5. I think it was mile 6. Yeah, mile 6 was the first time I went to the bathroom. It was just like gas. So it was kind of wasted, but at the same time, I thought I needed it. And even though it was gas, I needed to sit down and relieve myself. Because I wasn't doing it during the race. I just couldn't let it out. And that cost me the 2 minutes. I think I had 2 minutes banked at that point. Between 1.5 minutes and 2 minutes, I had banked. That ate away the whole 2 minutes right there. So I was like, shit, now I'm going to have to work harder again just to stay ahead or get back ahead. For the next couple miles, I did manage to get back into the negative, so I was banked a little bit of time. I think maybe 20, 30 seconds, 2 miles later. Because as soon as I came out of the bathroom, I did waste a bunch of energy getting ahead. I think I was maybe 10 seconds down. So I quickly got that back after a couple tenths just by pushing a little bit. I don't think that cost me. It was just overall in general. So by the time we crossed the first bridge, I was feeling it a little bit. We'll say 7, 8-ish in. But whatever. Saw some friends, was talking to them a little bit. We were sort of on the same page. I saw my one friend 3 or 4 times. I'm not sure he'll want me to say this, but I know he was struggling today. He told me, and I could see it as well. We leapfrogged a couple of times. We'll say around mile 18 throughout the race. Let's see. Yeah, I still was feeling all right. About 9 or 10. As I was talking to him, when I finished talking with him, I was like, all right, I got to zone back in, or whatever, and that's what I tried to do for a mile or so. But the little inclines today were eating at me, just taking it, sapping the energy out of me. Even though I was handling them pretty good, and my legs weren't getting tired from it, it just seemed like it was zapping the energy away. See, yeah, after mile now 10. But each aid station that we came into, I was taking the electrolytes and water. I was drinking the electrolytes, and I would take a gulp or so of water, then I'd splash the rest of myself, just trying to keep myself cool and wet, so I didn't get overheated. Even though I felt overheated a little bit, but at least my body, when I was touching it with my hand, it felt cool to the touch. So maybe I had myself cooled too much, where my body was trying to warm it up. I don't know. Hard to tell. At least it works in ultras, but usually wear a more breathable shirt for an ultra than I did today. across the bridge. Yeah, we did the split from the half and the full. Don't ask me what the towns and stuff are, the sectors of the city that we run through. I just know after the split for the full and a half, it hit me a little bit. I was like, wow, you just all of a sudden feel a little bit tired. I don't know if it's those couple turns that we do real quick or what. Just something hit me right there. And then as we're crossing the bridge, is that the big hill? I want to say that's the big hill. Like right before the big hill, we're going across the bridge. I just, like, energy just seemed to, like, zap away from me. I don't know if my Celsius finally wore off the caffeine or what, but it just sort of hit me there. And then as we're going up the hill, it just kept, like, energy meter just kept going down and down and down. I'm like, oh fuck. I was like, we're not even halfway yet. I was like, what the hell is this shit? So that sucked. I sort of knew then that I wasn't going to be able to maintain or last the rest of the race as we're going up the hill. I just didn't feel right going up the hill, which that hill has, like, never been a problem before. I never have issues. It's a small hill for me, so I don't know. Then as we got to the top and we crested, I was just like, wow, I'm way more tired than I should be. This just sucks. And as we're going around through Pitt campus, I just knew it was only a matter of time before my pace slowed even more as I went on, and that's just what happened. My legs, I don't know what to say, my legs got tired. It just, the energy in my whole body just sucked. It just sort of went away from me. Because I do feel like my legs were with me the whole race. They feel perfectly fine now. I could probably do like a under 20 minute 5K right now if I had to. It's just my stomach just was off the whole race, and I'm gonna get to that more now. It's like after that hill and stuff, I don't know if I was hydrating too much, too little, whatever, because it seemed like I got almost like the runner shits. I just couldn't keep up with it. I shit probably 6 or 7 times. It seemed like almost every mile I had to use a porta-john from mile 18 on, and I used a couple before then as well. It's almost like every time I drank the electrolyte or water, I had to go to the bathroom. It was just like coming out of me. Just wasn't staying in. That's what I said. I was getting like the runner shits, I guess. I don't know. It was just weird. Like, it was just, I would drink something and like a minute or two later, I was like, oh, here's my guts again. And that just zapped more and more time away from me. And I started getting behind. I knew I was like I think at one point I was like 5 minutes behind. I was just like, there's no point in trying anymore. I was like, you're not going to hit your goal of 2:55 at all. You're not going to be able to have a BQ time. So it's like, just pull back and not kill yourself. And I wouldn't say I necessarily did pull back. I just couldn't get going anymore and find a groove. And like I said, the energy just kept leaving me, and I think it's just because I was so nutrition deficit at that point. I didn't have anything left, and I noticed I was getting like I said, overheated again and hot. My buddy Ryan, he passed me at one point, and I was struggling. I even did like a quick clip somewhere after mile 16, and you could just see it in my face because I was watching it afterwards. My face looked horrible. My eyes like had bags on them, and it was just rough. There was no way I was dropping sixes after, we'll say, mile 16. For the life of me, if I tried to do a 6 or tried to do 6s the rest of the way, I probably would have been passed out on the course. There was just nothing I could do. So from then on, I just tried to do the best I could, and shoot for that 3.5 to 4 hour time frame. I was thinking as long as I could do 10s or lesses the rest of the race, I would come in under the 4 hours. And at one point I was probably at that 3:30 range, because obviously I did that 3:29. I'd have to look at my pace, what it would equal to, but I was like, as long as you could stay in 10s, you'd be under 4 hours. And I think I was shooting, under that 3, but it's hard to tell with going to the bathroom so many times. Just, 2 minutes here, 2 minutes there. 12 minutes at least on the back half of time could have been knocked off. And then probably 4 or 5 in the front. Just, stopping and going really takes it out of you and slows your legs down from the stopping and going. Yeah, from then on, I just tried to keep myself cool with the water sprayed down my head. One point, I did get a handful of ice from one of those like medical stations to try to put in my hat. I think it was around 21, 22 range, like right before the downhill, like the 2 miles of downhill. But it really didn't help. It was actually making my head hurt. There's not much to talk about between, like, say, 16 and 22, because I was just struggling. Did walk once or twice in the uphills, like a little bit, not long, but just to give myself a break, because I felt myself exerting too much energy, like my heart rate going up. And I was trying to keep that in check as well, because it was definitely in the 160s way too much today for the effort I was putting in. So that could have played a factor as well. I really don't think the baking soda and beet powder had adverse effects on me. I think they kept me in the game longer. I'm not really sure. Who knows? But it just sucks, because I know what I had to do, and I know what I'm capable of doing. It's just one of those bad days where your body just doesn't want to cooperate with you stomach-wise. Like, if it was legs, and I could see my legs being horrible from last week's 50K. But to have my stomach hurt and give me issues like it did today was just sort of unheard of. It just sucked. I did struggle on the downhills, just too much jarring. Like I said, I don't know if it's my waist pack just putting pressure in the lower intestines or whatever. I don't know. And then it was, once we hit the bottom, we'll say like 24-ish. I know I went once or twice more there, like 24 or 25. It was just a struggle to get to the finish line with like 2 miles left. I had like 23 or 24 minutes. It was just a struggle to make it. And it just sucked because I kept getting passed and passed by people. And I'm like, oh my God, this is... It was sort of aggravating because I could see my time going up, my pace slowing. And I was like, I should be so far ahead right now. I should be finished 20 plus minutes ago, and it was just eating away at me. Like, as people were passing me, I'm just like, fuck. I don't, usually after a race, like a couple miles in, like I'm locked into a group where I don't get passed by more than like one or two people, or I end up passing people. But today it was just like the droves of people passing me was just mentally defeating, eating away at me. But I ended up finishing 3:29. I don't know. Just a bad day in general. But anyway, yeah. Got to my hotel, got a nice warm shower for like 15 minutes, changed. My legs, like I said, felt good afterwards. I mean, they were a little sore from not really stretching afterwards, but they're fine now. I was driving fine until I pulled off. We'll get some Panera bread here in a minute. Drank a Fit Aid and one of those Panera bagels that they had at the finish line. It's basically all I had so far. Maybe besides a couple Hershey pretzels. So I'm still deficient. I had a Turner's milk at the festival, whatever area. Got some pictures there. I was gonna get my medal engraved, but there was a line. I was like, I really don't want to stand in line for 20-30 minutes to get my medal engraved. I'll just write it in the back with marker. But I did, yeah, I had to check out at noon. Did leave my bag at in the lobby for an hour or so as I walked around the finish line and saw some friends. Then I was leaving to head back to the Greyhound station to get the car. I did probably spend a half an hour taking some clips of people. It was probably like over 100 clips today, so that was kind of nice to get all those taken, which was awesome because I got to see a bunch of friends finishing as well. Because I had to walk up a couple blocks, and then I got on the course, which was a longer way back to the car, but I wanted to watch people finish and get some clips. And I'm thankful that I did because I got to see my buddies. I would say probably about a dozen different people finishing the last couple tenths of the race. So I'm very thankful for that I was able to stick around and see people finish. I wasn't sick. Just one of those cool things I got to see today, just people finishing and, still reaching for their goals as I was able to get cleaned up and go see that. So one of those special moments that, I like to see. And just everybody in general just finishing, thousands of people coming by me. Just cool to watch and take it in. Some people struggling, some people, looking fresh. Just that whole mix of things. I don't know. I enjoyed it. I mean, because you know how hard it is to finish a marathon. Just to see people. I was probably like maybe 3/10 from the finish line. So just see people, getting near the finish line and just watching different like fitness levels and people with different goals coming in. It was just something cool to see, especially my friends. But yeah, I don't know. I just felt like it was very well organized race again this year. I don't really have any complaints except that I did horrible. Seemed to run pretty smooth. All the roads were blocked. No traffic issues. There's tons, again, volunteers, which is awesome. There had to be, I don't know how many thousands of volunteers. I would say just as many volunteers as there are runners. So probably like 10,000+ volunteers out on the course, which is awesome. And just tens of thousands of more people along the course just cheering people on, which I'm very thankful for. People cheering me on as well. And seeing friends as I ran the race today. Just all those cool aspects is why I do it all the time. I mean, obviously I didn't have the race that I wanted. And I know when I say that 3:29 is horrible for me, I know I do take it with a grain of salt, and I do appreciate the time that I was able to put down, because I do understand the my bad day people would love to be able to do. So I don't undercount or underscore that is anything. I just have such a standard that I want to meet, and I'm expected to meet, more or less, that I just failed today. And it's just kind of shitty and piss poor that I had such a bad race. I guess I was due a little bit. Just one of those things that pisses me off, because I know I was trained right, and it was just something out of my hand that I have no idea what caused me getting sick, or else I would have had the race that I wanted. And people would have, I would have been happy about it, and then people would have been happy to see me achieve my goals, as I do when they achieve theirs. But again, I do understand that my bad days people would like to have for their good days. So I do appreciate the abilities I do have. I just set such a goal and standard for myself that when I let myself down, it is kind of disappointing. And for the people who care about me and follow me, I let them down today, and it's just aggravating, I guess. There's not much you can do, because you're always going to have those days. Other than that, I don't know. I still enjoyed the weekend, I guess. I finished a marathon. I didn't get rained on. Saw a Pirates game. I saw some friends. I saw people crushing their goals, setting PRs, and just finishing the race that they want to have, whether it be the full, half, relay, or so forth. It is cool to see the different people's goals. And this race, what I tell people, it's such a diverse group of people and abilities. Like, Pittsburgh there's all kinds of walks of life that come to this race, which is really cool to see how the running community comes and supports of all walks of life and abilities come to this race. You don't get to see that at many races. Smaller races like 5Ks and 10Ks and such. It just brings everybody together for this one big marathon. And it's just cool to see everybody come together and everybody crush it. And I don't want to say everybody has a good time, because there's people that do struggle, and some of my friends did struggle today, but it's just, besides that, I know even though they might have struggled, or not, maybe a couple of them maybe not put down the times that they wanted, they still appreciate how cool it is in the atmosphere of this race in general, just to have so many people come out and support it, and so many local people, like friends and family, being able to see so many people achieve their goals. Like, if you travel to like a race out of state, how many friends or family are going to follow you, or, even if there's a couple people that go and watch the race, it's just not like Pittsburgh, where it's like a family friendly friend event where, I would venture to say most runners that ran from in-state have at least a dozen or so people that are cheering them on, or they know. Obviously there's a couple, if you're from out of state or out of the country, you might not have that many people cheering you on as an individual, but they cheer you on as you pass by them. Like, they might not know your name, but they're still cheering you on. And that's one of the cool things about this race and the bigger city marathons, is people don't know you, but they cheer you on no matter who you are, whether they know you or not. It's cool to have so many people there who know me and know a lot of other people, but just the atmosphere, like, everybody wants to see people succeed. And that's one of the great things about this race that you don't necessarily see at other races, where maybe it's a rail trail or something like that where you don't have people along the course cheering you on the whole time, motivating you. But this does. And again, tens of thousands, I don't even know how many that they would say. There could be 50, 60, or 100,000 people along the course, just cheering you on, volunteering and stuff like that. The cops, first responders all through the course as well. So very thankful for that. And I guess I'm going to wrap it up because I am starving and I need food. And Panera's calling my name behind me. So whatever. Didn't have the race I wanted, but I'm very thankful that I'm able to finish the marathon and go home healthy-ish. And stuff like that. So I don't take it for granted, even though I did have a bad race. I don't take my ability to be able to finish a marathon for granted, and I do want people to know that.